The year is 2010. ToolFreak32 asks, what animal do you think Pidgey is based on? And the results are overwhelmingly in favor of a pigeon.
It's right in the name. Hello, people.
Well, actually... No, it's a sparrow. You, sir, are clearly not knowing about your birds. I mean, you're closer, but...
It's obviously based on a raccoon. I have no idea what you guys are talking about with this bird nonsense.
Excuse me!
It's a freaking Pidgey. How hard can it be?
The Pidgey line. These guys are everyone's favorite OG bird Pokemon because the alternative is, a jerk. Plus, what's not to love about a pudgy pigeon, an Italian pigeon, and a jet pigeon? Pretty fitting that the first generic bird Pokemon are based on the world's most generic bird species, right? Well, not exactly. Let's cut to the chase. These are not pigeons. Like, this is a pigeon, but no matter what their names may imply, you can't just look at any random bird and go, yep, that looks like a turkey. I mean, sure, the Pokemon has plenty of behavioral references to pigeons, such as the anime's Pidgey mail carrying service being an homage to World War II carrier pigeons. But again, that on its own doesn't make them pigeons. So, what are they? Well, before that, let's take a look at what Kanto Pokemon are really made of. Gen 1 is pretty straightforward when it comes to designs. You usually either get loosely inspired features without representing an exact species, like a turtle shell or a rhino horn, or in rare cases, they'll literally just throw an animal in and barely change its design. Game Freak really just threw an eastern tiger swallowtail caterpillar into the game, even though it's filled with fantasy creatures and monsters, but it's literally... Then there's also Krabby, and like, now you're watching a YouTube video sponsored by Raycon, and this is the sponsored segment. It's proof that just because something is generic or common doesn't mean it's bad. I mean, people love Caterpie, and people love these earbuds enough that they have over 51,000 5-star reviews. That's one for every Pokemon! Eventually. And they can all enjoy high-quality sound at half the price of other premium audio brands. My wife and I recently did a ton of house cleaning, and she had these in for the full 8 hours listening to podcasts. I was honestly impressed, but thinking about it, it makes sense. Raycon's everyday earbuds are snug enough not to fall out, yet comfortable enough to wear every day. 8 hours of active playtime, and the charging case bumps it up to 32. And the noise isolation, the awareness mode, the digital assistant compatibility, that all just adds on to the value of these earbuds. And despite their value already, I'm gonna get you an even better deal anyway. By using the discount link in this video's description, buyraycon.com/Lockstin, you can get 15% off. Nice. And I'm sure the carrier Pidgeys won't drop it on their way to you. They're packed nicely and shipped well.
Oh, see? Perfect. Check it out at the link below.
Thankfully, this means that the Pidgey line is either so obvious we can wrap this up quickly, or this is going to be a long video, and you can probably figure that out on your own. Pidgey is pretty much identical to a female rose-breasted grosbeak. Grosbeak? Grosbeak. They do have gross beaks, but is it a grosbeak? Both of my guesses were wrong. It's a grosbeak. But yeah, it's that. And then the evolutions... basically just red-tailed hawks. Let's start with the prior. Pink beak, yellow eyebrows, brown back. It has it all. And for those small things we can't explain, they're just design liberties that Game Freak took before they really got this whole design thing down. You know, just Gen 1 things. Why only 3 toes? Just Gen 1 things. Why does it gain another toe? Just Gen 1 things. Why no chest spots? Just Gen 1 things. Why did my childhood cat run away? Just Gen 1 things. Anyways, it's a lot easier to explain the other two. Just remove their crests and voila, they're both just hawks with red tails. A red-tailed hawk, you could say. It's not just the tail either. The beak, the light chest, and the brown back all match too. In fact, the one thing in their design, not necessarily grosbeak or hawk-inspired, are these black streaks on their face. And these two can be explained by another species of bird. They're the facial patterns that we see on various falcon species. Pidgeot is famous for its flight speeds, maxing out at Mach 2, and falcons are incredibly fast as well. We'll get more into detail about that in another video, but aside from just a speedy bird, this isn't the only place the face markings come from. Well, it is, but this time in a different context. Egyptian mythology. Horus and Ra are the Egyptian gods of the sky and sun, respectively. And not only do they both have the head of a falcon specifically, meaning that they have this Pidgey eye pattern as well, but also there's that whole hair headdress thing, right? That's just like what Pidgeotto and Pidgeot have on their heads, big head crests. Though I suppose it could also just be inspired by various cockatoo species, which just brings us even deeper into the whole it's just a generic bird aspect. But regardless, it's clear how Pidgeot's speed could make it seen as a god of the sky, especially as its shinies match the color of the sun, at least in some depictions, including Egyptian ones. So put simply, they are a trio of god birds, generic god birds. But let's make it a quartet and talk about MEGA Pidgeot. With the exception of the hair, it's almost the same as regular Pidgeot, just add some extra blue on its wings and tail. It's kind of a lame Mega, but then again, Megas are all kind of lame. But it's hair now! That's just Super Saiyan hair, isn't it? Super Saiyan 2, to be exact. When you think about it, Mega Evolution is basically just the Super Saiyan power-up of Pokemon anyways, so it makes sense that at least one of the new Mega Evolutions would have it. After all, Pokemon is an anime, and one full of references to other anime, many of which just go over American heads. But Dragon Ball Z is one of, if not the most well-known and iconic anime ever. And I mean, it started the whole I'm powering up! I scream hard enough that my hair grows huge. That's all they're doing, actually. Their magic is stored in the hair, and so they just and then the hair grows faster. That's what I assume, anyway. But powering up, turning golden, having energy go all around you, hair getting bigger and all that, it became a trope that has been used in several anime afterwards, and games. All of Golden Sonic and Mega Evolution. Mega Pidgeot specifically. But it's not just an anime reference. It's not just Saiyan hair. It's also pretty reminiscent of a Pidgeot. Reminder, nobody knows exactly how Egyptian words are pronounced. Ancient Egyptian words, I should specify. A Pidgeot is a double crown of sorts worn by Egyptian pharaohs. It was a symbol of unity in Egyptian culture, as it was created by combining the white Hedjet crown of Upper Egypt with the red Deshret crown of Lower Egypt. And honestly, it's pretty close to Mega Pidgeot's hair. It's even got the little doodly blip. And considering both Ra and Horus had these crowns too, honestly, I'd say it's case closed. This is Super Saiyan Pharaoh haircut. And that's pretty cool. Case closed, at least for their physical design, but we're not done. If you thought their appearance was confusing, just wait until we get to their Pokedex entries. Collectively, they have 64 dex entries across the mainline series, and they reference so many other bird things that none of the aforementioned species do. For starters, very docile. If attacked, it will often kick up sand to protect itself rather than fight back. This is a reference to just birds in general, of course. They don't really kick up mini dust devils or anything, but they do use dust and sand to bathe themselves, as the sand absorbs excess oil and dry skin. But here's another dex entry. When hunting, it skims the surface of the water at high speed to pick off unwary prey, such as Magikarp. But the main birds they pull from, red-tailed hawks, prefer rodents and hunting in forests, so the fishing sounds much more like the behavior of eagles and osprey, expert fishers who hunt in this exact manner. Here's another dex entry. The Pokemon has dazzling plumage of beautifully glossy feathers. That tends to be a thing more often associated with smaller birds, especially males in the mating season, rather than birds of prey in general. It can fly continuously for 2 weeks without resting. Most raptors can't do that. Eagles can last 4 to 6 hours without resting, for instance. But the endurance of many smaller birds is intense, like the alpine swift, which can go 6 months just in the air. People will always go to albatross because of that fun fact while they spend most of the year not landing, but they do still land on the ocean and rest while on the ocean. Doesn't count as landing though, because it's not land. All in all, each of these bird Pokemon are, just as their Pokedex category says, they are the bird Pokemon. Just about as generic of birds as you can get, from the little passerine birds to the big birds of prey. There's something here from all of them. So no, they are not just pigeons. Even Pidgey is not just a pigeon. That's why Pidove was okay generations later. It's actually just a pigeon. And don't you worry, we'll get to that. Your best friend Pidove will have a video soon. And in the meantime, have you ever wondered about the other bird Pokemon? Like, why does Staraptor have an emo haircut? The answer is in this video here. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, you never stop using your noggin.